What's up, everyone watching this video? I'm Admin Tim from the Sons of Liberty. In a previous video, I mentioned dominionism, and in a separate video, I also talked about Project 2025 and its insidious attempts to inflict Christian nationalism on our country. And now my colleague Admin V is telling me that I have to talk about it because it's something that not enough people know about, and it impacts elections and the decisions of evangelical Republicans. Before I begin, I need to say something. After I got out of the Army, I did some private contractor work, or conflict resolution, or basically merc work. After that, I kind of bounced around from career field to career field, starting in restaurants because I love to eat, and I'm sure there's some innuendo there, but I'm just going to skip it. Anyway, I led off with that to pivot to working with black women. And fellow white fellas, let me just tell you straight up, if you've ever been hit on by or otherwise complimented by a black woman, it's like your soul levitates right out of your body and raptures itself. I've smoked some pretty good shit in my time. I've done some other stuff that I'm not going to talk about, and there is no other high on earth than that of a black woman complimenting you. She didn't even have to say anything, just a and a look, and I'm like, St. Peter, get ready. Lord, I'm coming home. I'm not even Christian. So black women, thank you. I'm on like cloud nine, believing in myself every single time for like a week straight. So to set the stage, Admin V wants me to tell you her story. She grew up Southern Baptist, spent a lot of time at church, read her Bible cover to cover a couple of times. She believed. Had her first panic attack at a revival meeting about backsliding because at the age of 11, she was afraid of going to hell for whatever sin an 11-year-old can possibly commit because we didn't know when Jesus was going to come back. She wasn't sure that she was really saved because she never heard the still small voice of Jesus calling her, and there was lots of talk about Jesus coming back, and there were signs of the times everywhere. And as a literalist child, she actually thought that Jesus spoke to pastors and people, and there was something wrong with her because he hadn't actually talked to her. She thinks this is both sad and hilarious now. Me too. Her upbringing in the church is at least half the reason why she takes Lexapro every day and has an emergency prescription for Xanax. Growing up in a death cult fucks up your brain, but it makes you uniquely qualified to talk about evangelical culture and how it's impacting politics in 2024. Now, in some of my videos, I've mentioned that I'm the son of a preacher man, and that's one part swagger because if you know that song, then you know what Billy Ray was getting up to. But it's also equal parts setting up my background to talk about this from a qualified perspective as well. My father and stepmother are both Methodist ministers in the Bible Belt. My father, a United States Marine, got saved and found Jesus early on. So in my entire United States life, up until my senior year of high school, I went to church. Sometimes a lot. I've been in all kinds of churches. I've been in Episcopalian churches. I've been in Baptist churches, ranging from Southern Baptist to Free Will Baptist to Primitive Baptist. I attended a Catholic high school. I've been to an AME church. I've been to Pentecostal holiness churches. I've been to Presbyterian and Wesleyan churches, Lutheran churches, Assemblies of God. One time I went to a black church, not realizing that I was going to be there for 6 hours. Let's see, what else? Now that I think about it, I'm not even sure what kind of churches I've been to where they were in like some kind of weird strip mall with tinted windows. Actually, you know what? I think that all that exposure to fire-breathing hellfire and brimstone preachers is what informs my delivery style when I do these videos. Now, my dad sometimes shakes up his stodgy Methodist white congregation with some Baptist and Pentecostal holiness antics, but overall, he's a pretty good, rock-solid dude who stays level-headed about his faith, although I've had to rescue him from Trump world propaganda and challenge some of the things that he's posted on Facebook just to remind him that his religious beliefs don't square with the political ideology of the party that he still thinks that he supports when it's not being overtly sinful. But every day is a struggle for me. Now, if you want to know what dominionism is, it all starts with the first verse of Genesis chapter 28. God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it, rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground." Yeah. This is all based on an oral creation myth that was written down for the first time that we know of about 3,000-ish years ago post-Babylon exile. If you're Christian, it would behoove you to do some research into the real past and not get mad at us. We don't claim to be the History Channel with its ancient aliens nonsense, but we very much encourage you doing your own research and recommend that you stay away from sources that are trying to prove the Bible is true and instead focus on sources that look at the evidence and then make some conclusions. Anyway, dominionism or dominion theology is the idea that humans have dominion over the earth and can do whatever the fuck they want with it. If they want to poison the rivers, they can. If they want to hunt a species to extinction, they can. God gave us permission to do what we want with the earth and fuck climate change. It isn't that simple, but it's also very much tied to Christian nationalism in America. It also goes back to things like manifest destiny, i.e. the white man can steal the indigenous lands, and colonialism. Dominionism in the modern Christian right has manifested itself into the Seven Mountains movement. This might deserve its own post and video, so comment below if you want us to talk about it in more detail. The seven mountains that modern evangelicals want to conquer, aka have dominion over, are family, religion, education, media, arts and entertainment, business, and government. So when you see the big old mega churches recruiting people like Justin Bieber and Chris Pratt, the Star-Lord, into their fold, they're working the entertainment mountain. Many people who aren't Christians also believe in the supremacy of man and the right of humans due to their superior intellect to do whatever they want with the earth and its resources. These folks, not surprisingly, also vote Republican because they don't want to have to think about restricting the activities of individuals or corporations in the name of conservation. Oh, darn. Some animals, some plants, some mushrooms, some birds, insects, etc. have gone extinct, and that's just the natural way of the world. We do what we want. One of the things that's most frustrating as an ex-evangelical in the leftist and progressive spaces is how many people don't know that there are literal people who want bad things to happen who vote to make those bad things happen so that Jesus will come back. We'd like to remind you that the nation of Israel was started because a British evangelical, Arthur Balfour, decided that they needed to establish a national home for the Jews in Palestine. Bart Ehrman makes a good case for this in his book Armageddon, which is another book recommendation by Admin V. Any good evangelical raised in the world of Thief in the Night and Left Behind can tell you why someone would want that to happen. Don't worry, we'll wait. All together now. It is so that they can make the world that would establish the return of Jesus. This is a fucking nightmare because unlike Jonestown and Heaven's Gate, they want to take the rest of us with them. They think we'll be fine if we just convert to their beliefs because then we can all be happy about his return too. None of this is explicitly said, of course, but if you live embedded in the culture, it becomes apparent. Evangelicalism is a form of apocalyptic death cult who believes that because of a verse written 3,000 years ago in Genesis that they have the right to do so. So the moral of the story is that dominionism is a fucking problem that the left needs to care about. And you'd better fucking do it sooner rather than later because these motherfuckers have been active for a good 50 years in modern culture and are pretty damn entrenched in all aspects of our government, including the Trump administration, its cabinet positions, and the Supreme Court. And now for some obligatory disclaimers. You can follow the Sons of Liberty on all the things, whichever ones you've got. And after the Rick, you'll see that our socials are listed in the throat punch. Yes, we have an OnlyFans, safe for work, and a Discord server, which reminds me if you're a gamer geek like I am, we just added a games channel. You can also ping the admins with breaking news stories and bullshit with the other members of the page fam and the admin team. If you like the shirts that I wear during my videos, a lot of them can be found in the Sons of Liberty merch store, which is linked on our YouTube channel description and video description, on our Facebook page, and in our TikTok channel profile or bio or channel, whatever the fuck it's called. If you like our content, we definitely appreciate it if you'd subscribe, like, and get notifications on our socials. You can help us extend our reach by sharing our content, and if you want to help us beat the algorithm, then please leave us a comment on our posts and videos. For the Sons of Liberty, I'm Admin Tim, and Admin Tim316 says, get fucked and die mad about it. Hashtag not sorry, not sorry. 2 claps and a Rick. Stay away from cults. Woo!
And now it's time for the throw punch!
Long story short, dominionism is a fucking problem. Long story short. I've been fucking ranting for like 15 minutes. What the fuck, long story short? My ass.